Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to Sins of a Solar Empire 2. This is a continuation of our sponsored coverage for the game, so this video is sponsored by the publisher Stardock. In this second series, we'll be taking a look at a different faction, the TEC Rebels. And there has been 2 new patches since the last campaign, adding new skyboxes, UI improvements, a new map, and a ton of rebalancing and other improvements, particularly to the AI. One of the biggest changes that I've noticed is the adjustments to how you get research, which I'll show you guys this once we get onto the map. Now remember, the Steam version will be releasing in Q3 of this year, and if you'd like to wishlist the game, there's a link down in the description of this video. Final thing to note, since I've already explained the basic game mechanics in the previous series, I won't be going over those again in this campaign. If you are new to the game, perhaps check out that series first. It's 4 videos where we played as the TEC Loyalists. I'll link the first episode on the end card of this video. So let's go ahead and get started. As I mentioned before, there is a new map. That's this one here. However, we're not going to be playing on that. Instead, we're going to be doing the Twin Giants. This is a 6-player map, so we'll have more players than we had before. We could set it up to just have 4, so 1 of each of the factions. That does result in a lot of empty map though, which you might desire that setup. But we're going to go ahead and have the 6 players. It's 55 planets, so quite a bit larger than the previous map that we were playing on. So this is how our game is going to be set up. We're going to be playing as the Rebels. We're going to have 3 factions of TEC and 3 factions of Visari. So for our enemies, we'll have 1 Loyalist faction and 1 Rebel faction to show you guys what those are looking like. So these guys are designed pretty close to the way I designed our previous faction when we played as the Loyalists, with the blue and the same icon here. And this is how our faction will look. We're going to use this icon, will be red, and we're going to have the same character here as we did last time, because again, I like the beard. Here's our other Rebel faction. So it'll be like the light blue. Might change up her icon though. Let's see, give her something a little bit different. Maybe this one? Sure, we'll do that one. And then we have the 3 Visari factions. It's going to be 1 Exodus and 2 Alliance. And this is what they are looking like. So we got orange, white, and green. Another thing that I want to do different in this campaign is that rather than have all the AI set to random, a random behavior will be chosen when the game starts. We're going to go ahead and pick what we want their AI to be. Just to show you guys the different settings, we got aggressive, defensive, research, economic, and then of course just the random. So for the Loyalists, we're going to have them be economic. For our Rebels, I'm thinking aggressive. For the Exodus, we'll have them focus on research, and then we'll have 1 defensive alliance, and then, I don't know, 1 economic alliance. Yeah, this looks good. So it won't be random. We know we have AI of all different types. We're going to leave all the options on their default setting with the exception of the colonization victory. We'll turn that on. If you recall, that's how we initially won in the last campaign, but then we kept playing and went all the way through the home planet victory. Because this is going to be a shorter series, I don't know that we'll do the home planet victory. We'll probably just quit once we get the colonization victory, which, remember, that triggers once you get to a certain percentage of the planets, and also there's a lot more planets in this campaign. So yeah, we're going to go with the colonization victory turned on, but everything else is going to be on default. Alright, so this is our first planet here, and you'll notice already from the previous campaign that looks quite a bit different. I think it looks very pretty. I did forget to pause that when we first hopped in here, but we only lost a few seconds, so we're okay. We're going to go and start with constructing our free capital ship. In the last series, we started with the coal battleship, but in this one, we're going to start with the battle cruiser since they can colonize. And so I think that's a good thing to start with here. Once we get them constructed, we'll make sure that we get them that colonize ability, and then add them into our alpha fleet. We'll also want to put our home planet up here. Move that up to the top as well, just above the alpha fleet. And then we'll want to go ahead and get them some additional ships. So we want to get them the light frigates. Get them like 5 of those, so we can start moving out and colonizing. Remember, we have our recon ships out there exploring already. So now that we're in the game, I could show you how research was changed. If you recall from the previous series, the main way that you got research was from the planets. So you'd invest in the civilian and military research, and that would give you points for researching technology. However, it has changed. As you might have noticed, this no longer grants you actual research. Instead, it increases the research rates. Before, that effect was done by the orbital structures, and that's what's been changed. They basically flip-flopped this. So now there's two different types of research stations rather than just the one. There's a civic one and a military one, and these give you the research points, while the planet investments just increase your research rate. So yeah, quite a bit different. Really changes up the balance a bit. So we're going to want to start with getting these two research stations rather than investing here so that we can actually get some technology going. So we're going to get both of these constructed. Put one right there and one right there. That is all of our slots, so we will have to increase our logistics investment if we want to be able to get some additional orbital structures. But for now, we should probably invest in mining and commerce. So we'll get both of those going. And we'll also want to get one of these researched. Probably the Civic University. That'll give us 2 research points. I will still allow both of those to construct. Just once we get to another planet, we'll want to make sure that we invest in another military research station. Of course, if we were to get the logistics, then we could get another one here. I think that's good for now. Alright, so did we get these constructed? We're still waiting. So we'll get those built before we try and go out there. So these should be constructed soon, and then we'll be able to start up our research. It's also a little bit quicker to get that done as well, to do that through here, I think, than with the actual planet investments. Yeah, this one's almost done right now. So we're going to want to go ahead and add these, now that they're all constructed, to control group 1. And then let's see where we want to go first. Alright, well, we did find our first planet, an ice planet, so that's pretty useful, but we don't have that tech yet, so we'll go over to the asteroid first and get that colonized. And since we have this particular capital ship, we don't need to build a colony frigate, and so that's helpful, but it's nowhere near as good in battle as a coal battleship, so we need to keep that in mind as well. So we really need to get them some additional ships. So we're going to go ahead and build 5 more of those light frigates. Alright, so we do have this constructed, the Civic University, and so with that we can go ahead and start working on the civilian research to increase our credit income and get access to the additional techs. Probably should have had them prioritize the military research station. It looks like we got that done, so now we just need to get 400 credits. Let's go and take a look at the battle here at the asteroid. So we don't have any special abilities unlocked, just the colonize. And remember, when you use that, you'll get the free point in logistics. So that's another nice addition here. I almost feel like they should focus on the cruiser. Yeah, let's have them go after that cruiser first. Alright, we do have the income. Going to get that researched. And now we'll have to wait till we get a bit more credits before we can get the next technology, which I suppose should be to research that ice planet. Or we could go after this asteroid next and then go after the ice planet. There's also a volcanic one over here, so you could colonize that, but I really want to get this one started, so I think we'll go here, and then we'll come back and grab these ones. Again, the map is going to be quite a bit different than the map in the previous campaign. So yeah, maybe we'll wait to get that and first get these 2 techs. This would be helpful as well because it gets you more experience. Yeah, you know what? Let's get that one first, and then we'll get this one, and then we'll get this one here. Yeah, I like those passive bonuses initially, so we're gonna get that one for the auto cannons. Increase their strength. Maybe we'll get one of these ones next. Yeah, we're gonna get that one as well once we have the credits. We need to invest a bit more in our planet here, particularly in the commerce. So that's what we'll do next as soon as we get that 250. We got our first level. Excellent. So let's get the inspiring broadcast. That will decrease the weapon reload time. It's pretty useful. Another great thing about having this ship here is that you get the mobile trade port. That's a way to get trade much earlier than you typically would. Alright, so it should be getting colonized soon. There we go. Excellent. We'll go and invest in commerce here and the mining. So yeah, we have our first colony done, and then we've also gotten that research, and so we'll be able to grab this derelict loot faster, and most importantly, we're going to get more experience from it as well. Alright, so let's go and get another tech researched for military. So we'll have this soon. That also got us that experience for our fleet. Excellent. Let's go and invest in the commerce on our capital there. Alright, excellent. So got some nice goodies there. Alright, so the fleet is now... We do need to level them up real quick. We'll get the mobile trade port. Let's go ahead and get these guys moving to the next location, so we can get that colonized. Alright, so we do have open research available here. But first, let's go and get the trade port, which we do need to invest in logistics a bit further before we can do that. And then we'll have to wait till we get a bit more credits as well. 1150 is what it's going to require, so that's quite expensive. Not earning a whole lot just yet, as you can see here. We are already at our max supply as well, so we do need to get the tech invested in. But first, let's get this trade port, guys. So wait until we get to 1150. And then these guys should be able to take out everything in these initial areas. So yeah, we won't buy anything else until after we have that. Let's focus on these ships here. Not the siege frigate. We'll take out that light frigate. And then I guess we'll do this one and this one here. Alright, so we got the 1150. So let's head back over to the capital so we can place our trade port. So we'll get that constructed. And then after that, we need to work on some research. Oh yes, we hadn't researched that, so that did need to be done. So you can see that they're already taking care of that for us. That's right here. So we won't be able to build that until after we get that tech. At least we got something researched in there. Let's go and get something going for our military tech. Maybe the armor strength. We should probably go for the supply, actually, since we can't get any additional ships at the moment. So we'll get that first. Alright, so we need to invest further in the mining here. And then we need to get some military research going. So we're going to do the secret weapons lab as soon as we have that 500 commerce here. Alright, so these guys are doing pretty good, taking out the few ships that are here. We'll get that additional derelict loot as well. And we did already colonize this too, which is nice that we're getting those logistics immediately. We're going to go for the commerce first. That's mainly what been limiting us, though metal production is kind of low as well. So we'll get the mining here once we have the metal. And did we get the military research station here? We did not. The secret weapons lab, so we're going to go get that first. Yeah, over here we'll need to invest further in the mining. As you see, our metal is lacking. We did get the tech for the trade port, so that can start constructing now. So now we need to get another tech selected. See what we want to get next. Probably the influence. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And then after the influence, so that would be helpful too. You know what, let's get that. And then we'll get the influence. And then after that, we want to be able to colonize these two planets here. So we're going to go with the Arctic colonization. But first, we should probably do a military tech, considering the fact that we don't have anything researching now. Probably the armor strength. Looks like we did get that loot. This is another thing they changed with the UI here. So it's easier to see which exotics you have and how much of it, without needing to actually hover over it. So that's kind of nice because it's all color coded based on the type of exotic resource. So yeah, I like that. Let's get the mining now, or try to get the mining anyway. Alright, so we did get another level up here. So let's go ahead and get the... We're going to get the next colonize, actually. That's nice to have early on since it'll be used in all the places that you colonize. So let's go over here since we are researching that tech. In fact, I think we just... No, we did the orbital structure. we still need to get that one. But I think I didn't invest in it because we didn't have the commerce. So let's go and get that now. And then we'll have to get another military tech going as well. Still need to invest further here. And as you can see, it's getting a lot more expensive. We're going to go for the commerce now. So now we can actually make use of all of our trade points. So we're going to be trading for, since we can only do one of each, we'll trade for credits, metal, and crystal. So we did get the increased armor tech. Excellent. Let me see what we want to get next. Probably should go ahead and get the flak frigates so we can add those to our fleet since we do have the increased supply. We need to step up our research a bit so we can get to military 2. So we'll want to either get the orbital structures for that, or we could continue to do the buildings here with the secret weapons lab. I want to get one of those now. Also need to invest into mining. And then over here, we do have open slots here we'll want to take advantage of. We don't have orbital extraction yet, so still need to get that. It's a tech that we don't have access to just yet. Might want to wait to get that. And instead construct over here, because I think we still have open slots here as well. You know what? We don't have much here. So you know what? Let's go ahead and get another logistics point invested. And we need to do the surveys too. We'll do the first step since that's the cheap one. So we'll do the initial one in all these locations. We do now have the additional flak frigates. All right, awesome. So we'll want to, I don't know, get a few of those added to the fleet. And just in time, we got the research completed. Well, we never got the efficient crystal sorting. I meant to get it, but I think we're gonna actually get this instead, the commerce credit income from the asteroids. And then we'll get that eventually. All right, we also need to get tech over here. Like I said, I really want to go to military 2 there next. There's not much left to get here. I mean, that's helpful. I suppose we want to research that. I don't know if we even have any more of those. Let me just take a look, or if they were all destroyed. Yeah, I think they've all been destroyed. But it'll be helpful when we build a few more. And there's a tech that will grant us a few as well. All right, let's go ahead and give them... We'll get them up to 5 here. And so have those come over here and assist us, so we can try and get this ice planet colonized. All right, so in our home planets here, we haven't gotten the last step in mining. It's kind of expensive. Let me take a look if we want to do anything over here first. We haven't gotten these yet either. Don't have the credits at the moment, but I think we will. I mean, we have a lot of things we can get with the extractors. So I'm tempted to wait to get the research stations here until after we colonize here. Yeah, it might be wise to just wait until we get that colonized. But we do need the 1 more point for the military research. I think we'll just save these up for now. Get this colonized, and then as soon as we have that done, we can invest in it. In the planet, I mean. We also need to get the volcanic colonization. This will get us those additional scout corvettes. So we'll want to do that eventually, but let's do the volcanic colonization since we know we have a volcanic planet nearby. Alright, so he did fire that off now to get the planet colonized. Excellent, so let's go for the commerce and the mining here. I don't think we have their unique building yet. We'll go for this survey. And you know what, we should be stepping up our research as well. Investing in these just to increase our research rate, because yeah, we haven't done that yet. So we'll get the civilian and then we'll get the military one. Although, as you can see, they are kind of expensive due to our current level here. Yeah, we're going to get those. And now that we have this planet done here, and we have 2 points of logistics, so now I want to invest in a civic research station and a military research station. Essentially, as soon as we have the commerce. So we're going to speed this up just a little bit. as our ships take care of these objectives we have set up for them. We're going to get the military research station first, and then we'll do the civic one. Alright, so we did get the additional crystal mining, and now working on that volcanic colonization. Before we can send this fleet anywhere, we do need to get this derelict loot. And let's go get the next one started on. Alright, excellent. So they're going to take care of that for us. We also got another level up. So let's go for, thinking the last point here. Yeah, let's put the last one into this. I know investing in the inspiring broadcast would be pretty helpful as well. Alright, so let's go and make sure that everybody is added into control group 1 here. And then we're going to be going backwards, guys, to go grab this location, the volcanic planet. Let me see what's nearby here. So there's an asteroid and then something that's unexplored. So basically, we need to get another fleet constructed here soon. We have the supply to do so. So what we might want to go ahead and do is work on another ship here. Could do another battle cruiser for the colonization ability. Yeah, you know what? I think we will go ahead and do this here. I want to add a coal battleship to our main fleet. But let's get a second fleet started up, guys. So we can really focus on colonization. And try and get as much territory as we can. Since we are facing 5 different rivals. So we might go ahead and wait to get this the rest of these sects here and just get the civilian 2. And then we'll have to wait to get the military 2 until we get the 800 currency here. Won't take too long. There we go. So we'll get those started. And then we can also spend our influence here to reveal one of the minor factions. Okay, so this is not who I'd want to have revealed. I'm looking for the pirates. I think it'd be really helpful if we get access to them. Alright, so they're taking care of these minor faction ships here. We also finished up that battle cruiser. Just going to dip over to them real quick. And we'll want to get them the colonize. We didn't add anything to either of these two ships yet, so we should go ahead and do that. Let's give them both of those for now. And then we're going to want to put them into a new fleet, beta fleet. And then we'll want to start giving them some additional ships here. So we'll get them those. And then let's go ahead and dip over here and get them some stuff. We'll get them the armor patch kit once we have the 350 commerce there. We did colonize this planet. Excellent. So let's go ahead and send these guys over here. I don't know if there'll be anything attached to that since we never did explore that. And yes, we did finish up the research here, opening up the new technology, but we're kind of broke, so we can't get anything just yet. Commerce has been one of the main limiting factors here. We need to get those extractors though, so I think we're gonna get that first. So let's go and start with the autocannon weapon damage increase. Nice passive bonus there. Also, we have a bit of influence, so we can reveal another minor faction. It happens to be the pirates. Excellent. So we want to invest in them first. So that's who I was looking for. We haven't gotten any of the stuff invested in here just yet in our new planet, so we'll go ahead and do all that. So you may be wondering why I chose to play as the Rebels, considering the fact that we had already played as the TEC in the previous campaign. Well, I wanted to show how they differ, considering the fact that while both of the TEC factions share a lot of the same ships, as you'll see here, many of the ships are the same ones that we had as the Loyalists, and they also share, some of the planet buildings and a few other things as well. I want to show how they differ. I thought that would be interesting to show exactly how the two factions differ. And I like the Rebels. They're a very different playstyle. And you may recall in the last series that I relied heavily on the garrisons. which, you know, defended our territory for us. And so it made it a lot easier when we didn't have to worry about defending anything. You know, let's get the focus exploration. Get those ships back out there exploring. Yeah, I think that'd be good. That'll give us those 4 ships. We also need to get some military research started up over here. But yeah, I think that they have some interesting differences, and one of those is the Center for Human Doctrine prototype. You may have seen it on our home planet here. It gives an increase of weapon damage, not just for the system, but also neighboring systems. And so you can use it on the offensive if you have an enemy system nearby. Not only is this asteroid connected to a bunch of other locations, but it's already been colonized by the Loyalists, and they have already set up defenses. Remember the Loyalists, you know, as we were just talking about, they're very defensive. So let's get these guys out of here, because I actually have no interest in having to fight for something. So let's go over to this location, though. Before we do, let me make sure that the orbits aren't going to mess us up over here. Okay, so we will be able to head over to the asteroid, which is where I want to go next. So grab this, and then we'll go after the asteroid. We should probably start setting up our own defenses in this location here. We might want to get an additional, you know, we haven't really been investing in research as fast as we should, so let's do this first. Could get an additional type of ship. Could get the hangar defenses as well. There's also some passive bonuses we haven't yet gotten, like the max hull points and hull regeneration, so we're going to grab that up. And then after that, I think we should get an additional ship. Yeah, let's get the carriers. I like those. Although this would improve our current ships, given the light autocannon. You know, let's go and get that. Alright, so we need to invest further in here once we have the research, or excuse me, once we have the commerce. So let's get the defense here now. Yeah, let's go ahead and dip back over to here, make sure these guys are taking off, getting out of there. Doesn't look like we took any casualties here. They do have some ships that are coming after us. I wouldn't be surprised if those are garrison ships. Dealing with the Loyalist garrisons can be quite problematic. We've seen just how helpful those were in the previous playthrough. Where is our other fleet? I did not do anything with them. Let's go ahead and do that now. So they could have been coming over here. And then this is connected to their system there, so this is another one that you're going to want to set up some defenses. We haven't built any of the stuff here with the orbital structures, so let's go ahead and start getting that worked on. There's a lot of stuff we'd like to get here. Let's get the light factory. We're going to put them all like on this side here, so they can support our ships when we go to attack there. I think that would be useful. And then we're going to want to go ahead and get all the defensive stuff going here as well. And that's all we can get for now. We'll have to increase their defenses a bit. And we're just kind of broke at the moment. So we'll let them work on that. And we also need to get some civilian research. Okay, so probably should get the surface mining ones. So that one, and then we'll do the crystals next. Alright, so we're dealing with the ships over here. And we'll get that Arctic location colonized, as well as this location here, where our scouts are going in. So yeah, we'll be able to send these guys over here. There's not much here, so might as well send the beta fleet over there now. They're almost there anyways. Alright, so we were supposed to be getting some defenses set up over here. Need to get a trade port as well. Let's go ahead and do that first. And then we'll get this other stuff set up. So we want to get a defense platform. All these are not really enough. I need to get the tech to get the star bases. So yeah, we need 91 metal. Yeah, 2 of these defense platforms really isn't going to help out all that much. But it's better than nothing. Just really to kind of hold the enemy there while you get your fleet, since we're going to be relying on our fleets a lot more in this playthrough, since we don't have the garrisons. Alright, so we got a few things done up here. We're still working on destroying this fleet here. Let's have them focus on those cruisers. Have we lost any ships yet? We have not. Okay, so we're still doing good in that regard. We're very short on the metal. We can't purchase any just yet because we have not discovered the metal or the crystal market, and so those are not yet options. Over here, let me just take a look because I think we still have slots we have not taken advantage of. So let's go and get another trade port. I suppose that's good for now. We did just colonize an additional location right over here. Excellent. Let's go ahead and take our fleet and have them go over here next. And then we'll want to invest in the commerce and the mining here. And do the survey as well. Alright, so let's take care of all that for us, and then we're not doing any research again. So we want to get the shockwave pulverization, excuse me. So we're going to start on that. And then for the military research, we just got that additional light cannon for our flak frigates. So I think we're going to do the carrier cruiser next, once we're able to. Still short on the metal. See what other options we got through here. There's another unique one here. This is pretty useful. Once you start bombarding planets, you can get credits from it. Now, given we're not doing that yet, but we're going to be doing it soon. And so, yeah, we're going to want to invest in that. We did colonize this planet. Let me just take a look, see if we took any casualties. We did not. All right, excellent. All right, so I guess we're going to want to go... Well, that's a gas giant, so we won't put a colonize there just yet. Remember, we can't colonize gas planets for a while. And so I guess we just want to come on over here and go after that again. Yeah, we can't easily access it anymore. So yeah, I think we'll want to go after that. We'll need to build up the fleet a bit more, particularly getting those cruisers, the carriers. So that'll be helpful. We need to invest. Let's go and start with the research. Since there's a lot of stuff that we'd like to get. Orbital structure build time, we'll get that reduced. I definitely want to get that added, so we'll get that put under our capital plan, I think. Eventually want to get that, but we need to improve our current planets. So we're going to get both of those special buildings for them. We'll also get the interstellar networks. That'll be helpful. And I think that's good for these techs because we only have the one tech going for the military research. So I want to invest over here a bit. Just kind of focus on getting the research for a minute, as I have been getting distracted and not getting these. And so falling a little behind there. Alright, so we need to get the star bases, since that's going to be a core part of our defense. Since again we don't have the, and we should also get the hangars. In fact, we should put that first. Yeah, since we don't have the garrisons, we need to work on our defenses. That'd be helpful. Alright, so where is our second fleet? So they're planning on moving over here, where this has already been colonized. So we're going to be facing a bit of a fight over here. I don't even know if we can take them. Should be easier than that other location, though. We'll see. We can always retreat if we realize that it's going to be a little bit too difficult. Let's go and invest in our locations here. And got a lot of stuff we could be doing. And it's just metal that we're short on, unfortunately. Need to get these extractors as well, but you know what? We should probably get those closer to home. Because yeah, we haven't got them over here just yet. So yeah, we'll want to get probably the metal extractors, since that's what we're shortest on. The pirates are offering us an auction here for credits. We'll go and invest in that. And let's see how this is going. Yeah, and I don't know if we can actually take these. We might have to retreat, particularly because we don't have the coal battleship yet. And so that's one of the unfortunate aspects of getting the battlecruiser instead. We'll see how this goes, guys. I'm expecting to have to retreat here. And we need to get them the carrier cruisers. So we'll send one over their way. You see, we're already losing the light frigates. Yeah, I don't know about to get it done, guys. They're holding out all right so far. We also got the extra credits, excellent. But again, our problem is the metal production. That's what we're short on. I'd like to get this destroyed before we leave, so that we at least did something here before we retreat. We got another carrier cruiser coming over here. And we got the hangar defense prototype, excellent. Also got the orbital structure build time reduced, fantastic. Yeah, we'll get that destroyed again, just to make our efforts here worth something. And then we'll retreat and wait until we could have used this. Oops, damn. Hopefully he doesn't use that. There we go, fire it on that guy instead. And we could always try going after another one. They're still doing pretty good here. We can get that inspiring broadcast as well. Yeah, we just really focused on the colonization stuff here. Yeah, losing a lot of these light frigates. Okay, yeah, we'll just have them retreat. We'll see if we want to stick around. Nah, we don't. We want to make sure we don't lose our capital ship here. Especially not over an asteroid. So come over here instead. Make sure that the entire beta fleet is going over there as well. Let's remember we're building new ships. Have them come over here. Alright, so we should be able to invest in some of our locations. I suppose we can invest in this one here. Yeah, I don't have any defenses here just yet. So let's go for... Yeah, it's the metal we're shortest on, so we're going to get those. And then I guess we'll also do the crystal extractor. And then we're going to get the defenses built up here. And these guys are still heading on over there. We need to get them the carrier cruisers as well. And then we have some of these defenses set up. We're not quite done here yet. Let's go ahead and do... No, we won't do these here, because I got the ability to get the metal extractors, so we'll get those. We'll also do another trade port here. And then let's get the hangar defense. And then 2 more defense platforms. Discover one of the players there. Alright, so let me just dip on over here. Yeah, we're just so short on the metal. It's very limited on what all we can do here. We do need to get that broadcast center, since we researched it, but haven't actually built it yet. Or maybe we have it researching. But once it's done researching, we want to place that here. We did get these star bases researched, as well as the regional government prototypes. We want to put one of those, the regional government office here, onto our home planet, though we don't have the exotics required. Okay, that's fine. We also got the ability to get the ice processing facility, so we're going to construct that on both of these locations. So I get you more crystals. Did we get the one here just yet? We did. This is going to be a little more useful since it gives us more metal, and that's what we're really lacking. Again, still don't have access to... Well, let me take that back. We do have the metal market now. Okay, so we can buy metal since we have plenty of currency, and again, that's what's limiting us and stopping us from doing some of the things we want to do. We don't have any supply at the moment, so we need to research the next one here. In fact, we're going to prioritize that, increase the max supply up to 500 so we can build some additional ships as we get ready for our offensive against the Loyalists. Yeah, but this time we'll make sure we have everything we want for these. And now that we have that researching, we can go ahead and invest in these. So we got 2 of the carrier cruisers. Let's go and get the efficient generators here for our military tech. And then with our civilian research, I feel like we have quite a few things we need the Anvar for, and this grants you 2 of them. You can also build it faster once we're able to build those resources. Of course, we're not able to do that just yet. Alright, so I think we're still waiting on ships to be constructed here. Did get that research finished up, so those buildings can now work on that. Excellent. Still need to get the tech that allows us to get the next level for the mining here. Let's go ahead and get... I think we're going to do another trade port here. Could also do a heavy factory in this location. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. And we need to get the research stations too. So you know what? Let's get the research stations rather than the additional trade port for now. We also need to speed up our research. We'll have to start investing in these. We've seen with our home planet that they're pretty expensive, so not wanting to do it there. This one's a little bit cheaper, because we haven't invested in defense as much. Just to try and speed up the research a little bit. So we got that one next. All right, excellent. So let me just take a look and see how these guys are doing. They're just waiting to get the ships now. We can go ahead and set them up though so that they're in the control group. And it shouldn't take very long for those ships to get over here. And then we'll do our attacks. And it's just letting us get our economy going and focus on getting some of this research done as well. And I did not get this first. I meant to move that over there, but that's okay. That'll get us the broadcast center, which is helpful because as we get our culture spreading, which you can see there's no red lines on the hyper lanes because we don't have any broadcast centers. We're not producing any culture yet. And so once we start doing that, as it spreads, it'll grant us 10% commerce bonus, initially anyways. And so yeah, pretty useful. So I think that asteroid already has the extractors. I want to invest in extractors initially. So let's go and get all the extractors that we can here in these locations. All of our asteroids. So yeah, we're going to get the last one here once we have the credits. And it looks like we should have those carriers there, which they don't have to be all the way towards the fleet because they stay towards the back anyways. Yeah, there's the other one. Okay, so we're going to do this attack here. I don't know if it's going to be enough. They probably have a pretty strong garrison here at this point, but we can try. Let's go after them. See what we can do there, guys. Also, the beta fleet should be ready as well, and we need to head on over here. Luckily, we have some defenses set up there at this location, but we have not set up our civilian orbital structures just yet. So let's go and get the broadcast center going, and maybe a trade port as well. We can also get the crystal extractors, a little bit less of an issue than the metal has been so far. And we should probably get some more defense platforms as well. So we'll get those placed. We do need to get the star bases, but we don't have the exotic resource for that just yet. It's not really an option. We can go ahead and do the survey. Getting more exotic resources would be pretty useful, so we do need to start doing those surveys. Just waiting for the black market suppliers. Excellent. So allow us to get the basic crew training, because yeah, I want to make sure that we got that before we worked on some of this other stuff. So with the civilian research, still need to get the volcanic development as well as the Arctic development. I think we should get that one next actually, but we don't have the Kalinide. No, let's go ahead and do the influence points. I think that would be really helpful. Alright, so we should be over here engaging their defenses. There is no garrison here. Oh, that's interesting. I always find it worth investing in that, but they decided not to do so for the asteroid. But yeah, they already know that I'm attacking this location, so it just feels like it would make a lot of sense to do that here. Let's go after this defense platform. So I really want to get the coal battleship, so we need to start doing some surveys on our planet, kind of focusing on that a little bit more. So we're going to invest in the surveys anywhere we can, in the hope that we'll find the resources that we need. But yes, we're going to send the beta fleet over to here. Does seem our capital ship shields are down, and we've also lost a few of these frigates, so we're going to get those replaced now. Now let's make sure we're focusing fire, the whole fleet, on well, they almost had that one destroyed. We'll want to do this one next. Let's go and build one more of these, and then let's also make sure we're using our radiation bombs. Ship's still doing all right. You got the hull points. Again, gotta get that coal battleship here eventually. So hopefully should get that destroyed. But yeah, the fleet's just a lot weaker than it generally is. Simply because we just don't have a more battle-oriented capital ship. But again, you know, we went with this and we got the colonize ability, and it's useful. Plus we're getting more trade from this as well. So you can see that we are getting our culture established on our planets, increasing the commerce credit income rate by 10%. We also need to select some military research. You know what, I think again, having these robotic cruisers would be really helpful. So we need to start with the repair droid prototypes. We'll get that, and then we'll go ahead and get the robotic cruiser. And then for civilian research, let's get the Arctic developments, and then once we have the available credits, we'll get the volcanic development there. Okay, looks like they just sent a coal battleship with the carrier. Okay, yeah, let's get these guys out of here. Clearly this is not gonna work out. So we're gonna send all these guys out of here. Over to here. Everybody needs to go over here. The whole fleet. Make sure that we got that set up and just get out of there. We are already losing more ships here. So we'll add those. And then yeah, just get everybody sent over to here, over to our defenses. Do we want to build the defenses up a bit more? Let me just take a look what we currently... Yeah, let's go ahead and do another investment in the defenses. And get, well, we don't need an additional retrofit bay. What we really need is a star base, but unfortunately can't get that, so just doing what we can here with the defense platforms and the hangars and stuff. Alright, so yeah, we'll work on that. And then over here, we're going to get that volcanic development. So let me take a look at the other fleet, see how they're doing. Seems not great. Yeah, they have lost a lot of their ships at this point. So let's just go ahead and get them out of there. Because yeah, they're clearly not doing well here either. They still have plenty of hull points. We could wait until we get that one thing destroyed there, I guess. Let me just make sure they're all focusing fire on it. So could get that wrapped up real quick. Just want to make sure we don't lose the fleet here. We still have the carriers, but everything else has been destroyed. So yeah, we're having some difficulty advancing now. So that's the capital ships that's shields are down currently. So again, just trying to get this one pulse gun defense destroyed. They got a lot of defenses here. Yeah, they really want to protect this location. So both of the two areas that we're trying to move into are just very well defended at the moment. And again, we can't really go here just yet, but maybe things will change up when the orbits change. That's one of the nice things about this game, is that as the orbits change, you get some nice opportunities available to you. Alright, so as soon as we get that done, we're going to get these guys out of here. So we need to get them some additional ships here. We'll start heading over here eventually. Yeah, I have difficulty getting a little bit of health down. We are starting to lose on our hull points. I don't know if we're going to get it done. It looks like we should be able to. They are restoring it, so I think that's part of the problem. You see that their health is being restored. But we did destroy that, so let me just go ahead and pause that so that we can get these guys out of here. Because clearly, they're not going to win there. So let's move over to here now. And then we'll take a look and see what we can do over here. We could build up the defenses further. I think it's really going to be necessary in this particular location. But having the light factory here would be helpful. And maybe a heavy factory as well. So just having to invest in those everywhere so that we can get our ships to the front quicker. That's essentially what I'm trying to do here. Alright, so we'll get all those ships added. Also, we got the Arctic development. Alright, so just focusing on the planets we do have, so that we can make them a little bit more useful for us. So I'm going to work on that commerce. So we might want to start selling some of our resources now. I also want to take a look at the situation here, because it does seem that we're shortest on the credits. So we're going to focus on that. And yeah, we could always sell some metal here to get that much needed credits, which is really what's limiting us at the moment. Well, we also got that done. Excellent. Let me just make sure this fleet did get out of there. Okay, so they're over here now. And they should be getting those additional ships added in. So one thing that would really help us is if we got our special building here for the increased weapon damage in both of these locations. So that could help us out. But really what it comes down to is we need to get that coal battleship. And we still don't have the resource for it. So investing in surveying a bit. Probably just do all the last surveys here, even though they do get a bit expensive. Start doing any additional surveys. Anywhere we haven't done it yet. We also need to get the next military research. We have access to the robotics cruisers. We want to add those to our fleet. Let's go and increase our supply since we'll need to do that. Since we're sitting at 296 of 500, when you add in those additional capital ships, you'll see that we'll be quickly out of the supply that we currently have. All right, so still need to invest over here. This is 1,000 now, so we're spending a lot in order to find these exotic resources. But I think that's it. I think it's everything we got here, guys. There's one more location. Okay, so we can invest in this one. We need to get that constructed, so additional 10% research bonus there. And yeah, I suppose we can also work on getting the robotic cruiser. So we'll get one of those constructed for each of our fleets. So we have an open research slot here, but rather than invest in anything, I want to start moving to the next part of the research tree, civilian and military 3. But of course we don't have enough research just yet. So we're going to start working on that. So we're going to go ahead and invest in the civic research station and military research station here, since we have a bit of slots open up. And then we'll also get ourselves one of these here. We'll do the research one. And then we'll need one more point of military. And we happen to have just one more open slot over here. All right, excellent. So that'll get us to 8 and 8, so that we can move to the next text. Yeah, we're getting our culture dominant. You see it spreading everywhere. And so that'll give them penalties and give us bonuses. And we can also see that we did get a lot of resources over here. Excellent. So that's exactly what we needed. So now we can get ourselves the coal battleship. We can do one of those. That's it. We'll want to get an additional one once we have more Endurium. But for now we can do the dreadnoughts, because we do have the resource for those. We'll probably do the dreadnought in one though. Try and make one really powerful fleet, since again we're just having so many issues breaking through these two locations. So once we have the credits, we'll go for this. There we go, beautiful. Getting us additional credit income, and then getting us access to the level 3 text there. We'll also want to get this one here. Need 1,600 credits. You know what? Let's go ahead and sell some of that metal, so we can get that started. Now I think there's still some stuff here that we could have gotten. Yeah, we'll need the siege frigates eventually. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff we can still use here. In fact, you know what? Let's get these ones. We'll get this one as well. As soon as that's done, and then we'll do the level 3 tax. Those ones are cheaper. That's something to consider. We did get the coal battleship. Excellent. So we wanted to get this invested in, so we can get the looting crew, because I want to add it to this coal battleship. Because we can get the 2 levels here, because we got that one tech. We'll get those 2. And then let's go ahead and we'll get the armor patch kit. And so that'll start moving over to our main fleet, Alpha Fleet. And then let's do the Dreadnought as well. So we'll get that started on. And then we should have everything that we need for those, but might build them up a bit more in regards to the cruisers. So get like another robotics cruiser and another carrier cruiser. I think that'll help. Still need the siege frigates as well, but we'll have the dreadnought to kind of help take down the planets. Of course, you need to actually win there in order to even need any of that. We do have the influence, so let's go ahead and get the looting crew. And then the looting crew will want to add... We won't want to add to that one. We want to add it to the coal battleship. Because this is based on the damage it does. You get 20% of the damage that you do in credits. So it can result in a lot of extra credits. So I'm just waiting for the dreadnought and those additional ships to get constructed. And then we'll send them off. We did get the civilian research opened up for level 3. So I think it makes the most sense to get the gas giant colonization, since we know that we could have that colonized. So let's actually send second fleet, beta fleet, over to here. And we want to get them additional ships as well. So get them those two. We need to get them more capital ships. But we don't have the resources. I suppose we can get the Mars Dreadnought. So could get that for them. We got the research completed for that. Excellent. Alright, so let me go ahead and add that in to our battleship. So that's the rapid autoloader. So get that constructed. So there's the robotics cruiser. So they're still waiting on the dreadnought and that last carrier. And then we'll attempt another attack and see how we do. So our main shortage at the moment is crystals. Unfortunately, we don't have access to the crystal market. So that's a real shame. We've got plenty of credits and metal now, which have been the two main limiting factors. So we're gonna get that second dreadnought over here. Could also get the SoaSE carrier. Let's do the dreadnought though. Mainly because we don't actually have the siege frigates yet. We still need to get those. So yeah, we'll get that constructed for them. But unfortunately, we are gonna have to end today's episode. Still have a bit of room here, but remember there's a lot of things we need to get, like the exotic refineries and the Titan Foundry. Don't have to put that on the capital, I suppose. They don't have any defenses here just yet, but hopefully nobody makes it all the way over here. We do need to invest in the research here. Again, crystals are the shortage. Yeah, speeding up the research would be helpful. So get both of those invested in. Yeah, just got to keep on trying to maximize what we have here. We did just finish up our military research, so we're going to go and get the next one selected before we end today's episode, which we're going to want to get the pirate mercenary base prototype. So this is something that you add to your planets, and then you can spawn pirate ships, a pretty large fleet, a decent sized fleet for the price. Like, the price is really good for what you're getting. And so it's nice to have. Of course, again, you do got to research a tech for it, and you have to build it on a planet, so it takes up one of your planet slots. It's a great way to get a defensive force for a planet that's being attacked and all your fleets are too far away, or if you lose a lot of your fleet, then you can use it to build it back up really quickly, because again, it's just a great price for what you're getting. You do have to have the available supply though, so that's one thing to consider, where, you know, some of the other ways that you can get free fleets temporarily using the minor factions, it's not the same as that, since it does use the supply, since that fleet, the pirate fleet you get, is permanently under your command. Because we are having so many issues with crystals, we might want to switch around our priorities here a little bit. Just focus on crystals. Because our crystal production, once you take out the 5 we're getting for the trade ports, is nowhere near as good as the metal production. In fact, it's about half. Yeah, I think we're getting about 6, it looks like. Yeah, we're getting 6 before we invested in the trade ports over here. While metal we're getting 10, and credits we're getting 39, almost 40. So yeah, would be wise to invest a bit more in trading for the crystal production. So unfortunately, we do have to end today's episode here. I might play ahead a bit, or maybe what we'll do is we'll start the next episode where we do this attack over here, so you guys can see that, since we built up to it. And then we'll do a cut. Yeah, maybe that's a better way to do it, after we've gotten ourselves a victory here. And then we'll cut and skip ahead a bit But I'd really like to get over to the late game so you guys can see some of the things that make the Rebels a bit different. We've already seen that to some degree, like their unique buildings. But I want to show particularly their Titan. I really like the Titan they have. I like it a little bit better than the Loyalist Titan. The Titans are very much, they play towards the strengths of the two factions. So the Titan that you get as the Rebels is very offensive, while that Titan we saw in the Loyalist campaign was very defensive. It's very difficult to kill, and it has some really good buffs that it grants to the fleet. So very different Titans overall. And I want to show this one and just some of the other late game stuff that we'll get as our faction, which again is focused more on like working with the pirates, for instance, as we've seen with that one building that we'll be able to get soon that we're currently researching, the pirate mercenary base. So I'd like to show some of these more mid and late game elements. But I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Remember, if you'd like to wishlist the game, there is a link down in the description of the episode. I do hope to see you guys on the next one, and thanks for watching.